Hi, my name is Jodine and I run the Empower project. Today I'm here with the CEO of Nessie, Rachel. Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, hi. I'm the CEO and I'm also a children's therapist, and I train parents and professionals to support the mental health of children and young people.
So today we're going to be talking about transitioning specifically from year 6 to year 7. So Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about transitioning?
Yeah, so I think it can be a scary process for young people. I think primary school is very safe, often small. You've been the big child in the school, you've got your friends, and then suddenly you're going to a new place. Often seems massive, often there's a journey involved. Some children sail through it and don't bat an eyelid, and some children just find it a bit overwhelming or daunting.
For those young people that find it overwhelming and daunting, what are some of the things that parents and carers might see in their young people's behaviour?
So we always say at Nessie, if any child is struggling, what you tend to see is changes in their behaviour, what's normal for them. So they might eat less or more, they might go quieter or over loud. If they're studying at school, they might be very distracted or overwork. And their friendships might wobble a bit, and their sleep patterns change. So all of that is normal, is typical for all of us for a day or two. But when that's been going on for a young person for more than a week, we tend to encourage their parents or carers to say, "You're all right," and not spotlight it too much, but just say, you don't seem your normal self. What's going on?
And what kind of issues will young people face when they are transitioning from year 6 to year 7?
Well, interesting enough, sometimes it's like the really practical stuff, like I've never been on a bus before on my own. I've never had to manage my own money. How much money do I need? Where do I keep it? So sometimes we go through a checklist and the young people say to us, like, new uniform, like, us parents, we always buy huge uniforms.
Last them for a couple of years.
Yeah. So, it doesn't fit me, or I don't want to feel different, I don't want to stand out. If a child's got any, well, I'll talk about extra issues in a moment. So it's all the practical stuff. How do I get there? So I always say to parents, do a demi run. Like, get them practicing these new grown-up skills. Like, what's the dinner money system? Are they taking their own lunch, or do they do a thumbprint thing? And then in COVID, we've all been really isolated, haven't we? And we've all held back. And at Nessie, it seems like the year 6s are actually the year 5 age, really. They just haven't been out there. So all their independence and confidence has gone. So towards the end of the summer and the beginning of the new school year, it's about, you might drive them for the first few days or go with them on the bus, just helping them find their new normal.
And for example, when you're talking about driving them or them taking the bus, how do you ask your young person what they want to do and what works for them, what works best for them?
Well, I think with young people it's really hard to get them to talk about anything. Like, I'm thinking of my own child that's a similar age. Like, they can shut down because they want to be really cool and really grown up. So I always think we've got a network around a child, like you've got your family or your best mate who lives down the road or an adult that they relate to. So sometimes you have to say to them, can you have a check? Can you find out, are they worried about it? What are they worrying about? Or sometimes late at night, our child appears and goes, and you can say, are you all right? Is there anything you're worried about? And you make it light, and like a game, just go, how do you feel about the new uniform? Are you worried about friends? How do you feel about your journey? How do you feel about having loads of different teachers as opposed to one? But really, I think it's common sense and just making everything normal and going, do you know what, it is a big change. But they're all going to go for a transition day, aren't they, and an orientation day.
Or a summer camp.
Yeah, and everyone feels the same. Everyone's new, everyone's scared. But by the end of the first week, you'll feel more normal about it. And we work in schools, and all the new year, they're so sweet because they're always lost. And we give them maps. And once they realise all of them are lost, then it's funny, So you don't have to be in control and know it all and say to them, by Christmas, this will feel really settled for you. But it's all right to feel scared about it.
And what strategies could parents and carers use with their young people to help them feel more empowered about the transition, or feel more comfortable about that transition?
So I said earlier, I'm going to talk about children with additional needs
Yes.
a bit here. So most children kind of can sail through it, and you say, find out who your teacher is, find out who the teaching assistant is, find an adult that you feel is approachable, and anything you're worried about, tell them. But all the teachers are amazing. They will know that young people are worried. They'll be doing things to empower them, buddy them up, help them, and talk to people. That's a kind of given for everybody. Then other children who have other mental health or physical needs, it's about sitting with your child and kind of naming those and being really upfront about them and going, well, this is you know, you do get anxious and that's okay. So I would say to the parent or carer, be really confident about contacting the school. It's your right, you know, they really want to know how to support your child, and just say, can I have a word? Or drop them an email and go, this is my child, this is how they are, this really helps them and this makes them feel worse. Like that directive. Because if you imagine having 30 new children, if I know Joanne really needs her fiddle toys, and as long as she's sitting by the door she feels more confident, and can you identify an adult that she will go to, that will help me make sure she's settled. And but then with neurodiversity, obviously those children have additional needs in terms of accessing education. Some of it's formalised and there's a diagnosis and there's a support plan. Sometimes it's just emerging and there isn't. So same thing. This is my child, this helps them, this makes it worse. These are the things that help them come down if they become agitated and stressed. These are the things that make them more stressed. So if they need time out, A, B and C really helps. And just to give you an example, there was a girl that transitioned into a school I was working at last year, and she had autism. She came with like a list of instructions and her fiddle toys and her weighted thing on her chair, and the teacher was like, this is great. So she was able to settle herself really quickly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That follows on to my next question. Is it better off for parents to send it in the email? Is it better for them to speak to the head teacher face to face? Do they do that before they start the school or on the first day of school? When do parents with young people that are neurodiverse start to create those plans and let teachers and the staff know what their young person needs to get on well in that school?
So there's two things there. First is, as a mum, dad or carer, how do I communicate? Like, some people are really good on email and prefer it. Some people are tech phobic and like, I don't know how to do it. So what's your preference? And if you're a parent who's quite shy from face to face and you prefer an email, brilliant. So find the way that works for you and say it. I'm much better by email, or I'm much better face to face. Can I have a quick meeting? So that's one thing. Secondly, the person that you should speak to, head of year 7 is the person who's got their eye on the whole year. Then you've got the SENCO, whose job it is to make sure they access education, special education needs SENCO coordinator. And then you've also, in a secondary school, you've got like a pastoral lead. They're the kind of overall well-being. And then if it's an emotional mental health, you've got a mental health lead. And then you've got your child's teacher. So the first step is the teacher. If it's not working because they're busy or it's not working for you, then you think, is it education I need, SENCO, or is it like well-being, head of year?
Okay.
If in doubt, include them all. Yeah. If your child's needs are quite complex, don't be shy of contacting them on the first day if it's face-to-face and say, I will need a meeting. Can we put one in? I've got my diary. And they will go, oh yeah, hold on, and find a date. If you're better by email, email them all. Once the children are all settled, please could I request a meeting? Have I answered your question?
Yeah. And do you have any more tips or strategies for parents or carers with young people that are transitioning from year 6 to year 7?
Yeah, so I would say as parents, we really worry. Like, our child might have a great time at school and one bad thing, and they come home to school and they have to offload. And if your child has any neurodiversity, they will cope quite well at school, and that takes a lot of effort. They'll get home and explode. Right? take a breath, relax, because our children are learning new skills that they need. Like, school is unfair, it is big, it's like a chunk of society. So it's like, I often say to parents, it's like teaching them how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
We want to hold on to the bike all the way, but we've got to let go, let them wobble a bit, be there, listen, and then organise a meeting to review how it's going. But give them a chance to learn that they can do it and encourage them to have a go. Don't wait till it's terrible to have a meeting. Like, say, can I put in a meeting anyway, because I know it could be tricky and I just want to review, and maybe we could tweak things that need tweaking. And the school will always say yeah. But equally, if your child comes home and goes, la, 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 and it's awful, just from experience I can tell you, take a break, and then maybe the next day on a good day at the weekend, say to your child, okay, tell me the good stuff, okay, and what's the difficult stuff? What needs fixing? Do you want me to help you fix it, or do you think you can? And sometimes our children go, no, I'm going to talk to my teacher. And we go, yeah, it sounds good. And sometimes they go, no, I need you to do it. And you go, okay, I will do it.
Thank you for all of that information. I think you've given some really empowering stuff for both parents and young people and how they can support them through transition. Don't forget to watch some of our other videos on anxiety, worry, and managing emotions.